So they said to me, what are you going to call the show? I said, what do you mean? They said, we've got to call the show something. You know, all the comedians, and they name their shows, they name their tours now. And I said, what, like an album? They said, yeah, it's like, you know, like a band names an album, a comedian names his tour. So I said, well, what about Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club? What do you think of that? And they said, well, that could cause major legal problems. It's not very original either, is it, Sean? Someone else has done that. And I went, yes, you know, I was just being silly. And I thought about it. I thought, well, we'll have to have a name. I mean, the old comics, they didn't have names. Tom O'Connor, he didn't have names for his shows, did he? It was just Tom O'Connor. It wasn't like, come and see Tom O'Connor in Scouse Tangle or something like that, was it? It was just him. So then I came up with this idea, brilliant idea. One day I had this flash. I was going to call it Spot the Difference. And the idea was that I'd have these posters and 2 pictures of me on, right, and there'd just be very subtle differences. Like in one, I was in a slightly worse mood. You know, might have a bit of gravy on myself. And I thought people would walk past the poster, they'd see the 2 pictures, because I love Spot the Difference. Everyone loves Spot the Difference. You can't help yourself, can you? You know, like, you know, Mariah Carey's handbag, you know, there's like a buckle missing. What pleasure that gives you. And I thought people would stop in the street, see my poster and go, oh, Spot the Difference. And they start playing Spot the Difference. And then small crowds would gather. And they go, what are you doing? Oh, we're playing Spot the Difference. Oh, and Sean Lock's playing. And that would just get bigger and spill out onto the streets. The police would come and they'd say, come on, people, move on. And they'd have to take my posters down. Bit of a publicity coup. You know, the council would say, you're affecting the commerce of our town. And I thought it was a great idea. And then I realised that's not a great idea, because nobody would play Spot the Difference, would they? Nobody would play that. What would happen is people would come to the show expecting to see twins. They go, where's the other one? It would be a disaster. So I went away and I was thinking, oh, what am I going to call it? What am I going to call it? And then I came up with this other idea, you know, based on a film rather than albums. I thought, what about Sean Lock and 2 smoking squirrels? It's funny, see, that's funny, isn't it? You can't argue with that. And on the side of the stage, I've got 2 squirrels, and they're sort of in harnesses, so you know, they can't really move, can't get away. And I have like one of those wheels they have in Beagle units, and the squirrels are smoke. After every big laugh, the squirrels have a little puff on a cigarette. I think everyone would enjoy that. Who wouldn't? And they said, well, you can't do that, Sean, for lots of reasons, but mainly you're not allowed to smoke indoors anymore in this country. Haven't you heard? And I said, yeah, right. So then I thought, well, what about put them in a Perspex box, so they're sealed in, and call it Sean Lock and 2 choking squirrels. And every time I get a really big laugh, I've got this foot pump, and I pump some smoke into the box, and you can hear the squirrels go, I said, that's funny, come on. And they said, no, it's wrong on so many levels. In the end, I had this entirely original idea. I'm going to call my show